So when we tore apart the Tesla, what we found was everything there looked as modern as tomorrow. We do a lot of automotive. We also do a lot of other things. TV sets, cell phones, medical devices. We also have a Defense Department. When we saw this is as modern as anything. The Department of Defense doesn't have stuff, in some cases, as modern as what is inside of an ADAS system, let's say, for the Model Y. Well, you know, when I was in the tent there, somebody said, are you happy to see me, or is that a battery in your pocket? Let me show you.
I mean,
we have 5 Cybertrucks on order. I know at least one of them is going to wind up in my garage. I think that the Cybertruck is going to be revolutionary. I need a car that's under 25 grand. And when I see that, then I'll park that one up there as an innovative step change that hopefully Tesla will park out pretty soon.
Sandy again goes full savage, complimenting Tesla's engineering, exposing some future secrets that are going to happen for Tesla, and goes also to explain what's going to kill the modern car industry, and makes a shocking predictions about Tesla competition. I mean this sincerely. You're going to hear some shocking facts coming from Sandy's mouth. So, let's begin.
We're looking for innovation. So, as you may know, when I first saw the Model 3, I didn't see any innovation from the outside. Nothing. I saw bad paint. I saw bad gaps. I saw sloppy workmanship, things that didn't work. Once we got the interior out, and once we started dropping the battery and whatnot, now we were starting to look at the and that's the other thing we do is electronics, of course. Once we saw the electronics, and the electronics are like out of this world, that's the innovation that we that's what we sell these reports, and that's what our subscribers really want to see. They want to know what's going on inside. How does Tesla do what it does? And it's really simple. They use, there's this big thing you heard about chips. Anybody heard about just, yeah. Anyway, these aren't potato chips. These are electronic chips, and they can't get them. It's those bastards in China won't give them to us. No, they won't, because they don't make any money on them anymore. These things are from the 50s and 60s. These are the oldest chips on the planet. And when a chip goes, there's a chip graveyard. It's called Indonesia and Malaysia. And they ship the old machines there. Well, not even those guys want to make those old-fashioned chips because they can't make any money at them. There's too much silicon inside, and there's not enough profit. The cheapskates don't. And besides that, when you start looking at volume for circuit boards and stuff like that, look at your cell phone. There's volume. I mean, they make millions of those a day. Nobody makes millions of cars a day. So low volume, old-fashioned designs, that's what's killing the most of the car industry. They can't get these old-fashioned chips. So when we tore apart the Tesla, what we found was everything there looked as modern as tomorrow. We do a lot of automotive, but we also do a lot of other things. TV sets, cell phones, medical devices, and we also have a Defense Department, and we're always looking for the type of innovations, a step change from wherever the industry are that we're analyzing. And so what we did was, when we saw this is as modern as anything. The Department of Defense doesn't have stuff, in some cases, as modern as what is inside of an ADAS system, let's say, for the Model Y.
He got some strong facts here. Other car companies have to buy most of the parts, but this is not the case for Tesla. The company makes and manufactures almost all of the parts they need. This is why the company didn't struggle at all when the chip shortage was a thing.
You brought up that kind of change, and I think it's really good to kind of see it from your perspective, because you have been in the automotive industry for so long. You've seen the inside and how a gas vehicle is built, and then now all the way to the most modern EV vehicles, how they're built. What would you say is like the biggest manufacturing feature advantage for EVs versus gas vehicles that you've seen? The biggest enhancement?
Well, when I was in the tent there, somebody said, are you happy to see me, or is that a battery in your pocket? Let me Let me show you.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so I wasn't going to pull this out. I shouldn't have stopped right there, I guess.
Yeah, he pulled it
anyway,
out.
Yeah.
Wait, the Sandy Munro, the guy himself, just said Tesla cars have more advanced technologies than what the US governments have. Nah, that's impossible.
Anyway, this is the first one. This is the first one out of the pack, and we've named it Elonia. This to me is the biggest advancement because it's half the weight, or sorry, a third of the weight, almost double the power. This basically is going to put everybody at the sidelines.
Nah, you gotta get used to this kind of jokes from Sandy.
So for me, this is the biggest technology for high-powered cars. Now, from an energy standpoint, yeah, there's other things that can give you as much energy, but if you want it right now, this is the way to do it. Now, okay, I said that, but then there's other technologies that are coming down the pike that will also be driving the future. And so you probably heard of LFP, and that's lithium iron phosphate. Oh, and by the way, the F stands for ferrous, but nobody knows what the hell ferrous is. It's iron, so that's why they changed it to lithium iron phosphate. But anyway, that's going to be great for the low cost car that people don't want to go fast in. That's the perfect car for you, and that's going to be second. And of course, Elon's already bringing that stuff in. He's putting it into Model 3s. People are pretty happy with it. If you don't want to go like a rocket ship, bingo, there you are. And that'll get us to where I want Tesla to be, and that's I need a car that's under 25 grand. And when I see that, then I'll park that one up there as an innovative step change that hopefully Tesla will park out pretty soon.
There, Sandy explains how Tesla batteries are way ahead of any competitor. But this is not something new to us. We already know that. No one, and I mean no one, could ever come close to the kind of technologies that Elon and the team uses for these lithium advanced battery technologies.
Yeah, and the journey that you're seeing, the path that they're on, you see that happening for sure.
The man who can predict whatever Elon Musk is going to do next is far superior to the man sitting in his chair. That's for sure. No, I'm really hoping that he does.
This is expected to happen. A $25,000 Tesla is probably expected to hit the road, probably in the next 3 years. The reason why it's 3 years and not a year or 6 months is because of the current base costs of the parts. The battery alone cost more than $15,000. In a 3-year period, the Tesla engineers are promising to bring the cost of the batteries and all of the other parts down, and that will help makes us see the car in production soon.
For those of you who watch my channel, you know that on Friday or something, I don't know, last week sometime anyway, I started tearing apart a Chevy Bolt. I don't want any tomatoes. No, no eggs or tomatoes can be thrown.
Just prepare for what you're going to hear next.
Anyway, we got a hold of a Chevy Bolt, and I was horrified because it could be appealing. Now, I don't want to give things away, but we went in and did a much deeper survey on that car. We're not allowed to tear it apart. We can lift covers a little bit and stuff like that, but we can't tear it to pieces because it wasn't ours. And we don't accept gifts from anybody. Not Tesla, not Ford, not GM, not BMW, nothing. They want to let us ride them around, okay, fine, but no, we don't want anything to glue our name to their name. So at the end of the day, we took this thing up. We didn't take it apart. We took it out and drove it around, and my wife and I had it for the weekend, and my wife liked it.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That doesn't happen very often. My wife is a very critical PhD engineer. I barely squeak under the engineering, bar That's I'm not very good at the technical stuff. She's got a PhD, but I'm telling you what, if she liked it, then it must be
What do you-
it must be semi good.
What do you think was the one thing that kind of really convinced her to like it that much?
It's she was looking at it from a transition car, somebody who's been used to driving a Chevy or a Ford or something like that, and now is thinking about getting into the EV world.
Sandy here is not saying that this is a better car than Tesla, but he's just saying that there is some kind of a market for other EV vehicles. And you know, in any field, it's necessary to have competition. This comes to the advantage of the consumer. Because look at Apple, for example. The company basically does not have any competition at all. This is why they're able to get away with making the same exact iPhone every year for the last 6 years.
And when you get in, you know, it's got some of the Tesla stuff. It has welcoming notes and stuff like that, and it lights up, and it has both buttons and sliders. Like it has both buttons in the screen, so everything's double redundancy. So that basically makes it easy for people. And then she tried the accelerator, and it popped up in the air and squealed the tires. And she turned around and she said, "This may have legs."
I don't think it's necessary to have a lot of buttons if just one screen can do all of the work.
And actually, you'll see it maybe next Friday or the week after. And that's the wrap-up video. And Sue and I are going to be talking about it. And you'll see me hesitantly saying that this is a pretty good car.
This is my first time hearing Sandy complimenting another car than Tesla. He betrayed us.
Going back to like the Model 3, I mean, I think, you know, I was going to say, you know, how impressed are you? And I think you kind of covered that on what you thought about the Model 3 from an exterior to an interior to under the hood. It sounds like Tesla really focused on under the hood, the stuff that the consumer
Right.
can't see. And so for many of us that don't have that under the hood, the engineering, you know, mindset, they were quick to complain about paint and things like that. What have you seen? Because now you've done the Model Y and you've done the Model S. What have you seen advance in Tesla's, style and what they've been putting in and what they've been doing, change from 3 all the way up to, say, the latest S?
Okay, so when we saw the Model 3, I likened it to an old-fashioned Kia. But you know what? Kia is a red-hot car now. Kia and Hyundai are the same car company. And it's a red-hot car now. And they make a lot of money. They sell a lot of product. And why is that? Well, because they took the criticism and they turned it around. And now they've got a very, very good car. Tesla, Elon Musk told me in person that he accepted that some of the stuff was wrong. And he made a commitment on our YouTube channel that he was going to make it better. And he did. So what we have in our facility is a BMW with a Tesla badge on it. That's what it is. It is a perfect build. We have no trouble with any of the componentry that's inside.
One fact I want to address. Tesla has probably one of the worst customer service out there. But what does really matter? Improving the cars and making the technology more advanced in the car, plus driving the cost down, or having the best customer service in the world. Tell me, what would you choose? If you had to choose one, I think the answer is obvious.
And then underneath the skin, you're looking at this absolutely brilliant electronic architecture, electrical architecture, software to die for, ADAS that's 10 years ahead of everybody else, on and on and on. So I believe that for me, counting all cars, not just EVs, the Tesla Model Y that we have in our facility is technologically the most advanced. From a build standpoint, I'll put it up against anything or anybody.
In a matter of less than 4 years, Tesla went from having people laughing at the way they engineer cars to becoming the best, and I mean this literally, becoming the best, or having the best engineers that any car company has ever had, ever in human history. And Sandy supports my words here.
And from a feature content standpoint, you all know you have them. So as far as I'm concerned, the Model Y is the best car on the marketplace for the general population.
Tesla already said this. They know that Tesla Model Y will become the best-selling car by revenue than any other vehicle out there. It's easy to see this car. Sells between 4 to 5 million cars per year. A note, the best-selling car right now sells less than 1 million units per year.
If I probably do have the money, but I'm just such a cheapskate. If I wasn't such a cheapskate, I'd be in a Model Y, or sorry, in a Model X. I love that car. I absolutely love it.
Now, just touching on that, on cost of vehicles, because I think this is important, and maybe nobody thinks about this, but it definitely popped into my head, and I said, I got to ask Sandy this when I see him, is these vehicles that you're taking apart, you touched on this earlier, they're not given to you. That means Munro & Associates is...
Buying them.
Yeah, so you're buying these cars, taking them to apart, and if you're pulling batteries out, means can't go back together, correct?
Right.
So...
Yeah, nothing goes back together. Sometimes we'll sell bits and pieces. Some people have bought the rotors. That rotor that came out of the plaid, that's like... Those laminates are like nothing we ever saw before. Nobody's got anything like that. Nobody.
One thing to appreciate here, this guy seriously buys cars from money out of his pocket and tears them down just so he can give us the right information. Trust me, not that many people can do that.
And I've had a whole bunch of people telling me that, this won't work. And I read these things and I go, what do you mean it won't work? I just drove the son of a gun. How do you mean it don't work? And at Tesla, I don't see that. I see people going up and saying, I think we can do that better. Why don't we do that better? We should do that better.
Right.
That's the difference.
Right. Now, you made the statement that the Model Y is the best, but if I were to kind of still ask you, what else more can Tesla streamline and do better that's still on the radar that you'd like to see going forward, like with Cybertruck and future vehicles?
Well, we have 5 Cybertrucks on order. I know at least one of them is going to wind up in my garage, or not my garage. Okay. It's too big to put in my garage, but it'll wind up at my house. One will be torn apart. One's going to be static, and the other 2 have already been spoken for by other guys at the company. I think that the Cybertruck is going to be revolutionary for those people who want to go camping, who want to have an adventure vehicle, and that to me is an adventure vehicle.
I'm sure when the Cybertruck finally comes out, it will literally shock the whole world, because I don't think any other car out there will be able to compete with it. And don't forget one important thing, Tesla lies to us. I know it's shocking, but yeah, Tesla lies. We have a whole video on the channel about this.
Who else is on your EV radar? I think you mentioned a couple brands, but like who else is really really impressing you based on what you've seen on take-aparts that you're like, okay, they're on my radar, that's like the number 2?
Number 2?
Yeah.
Well, number 2, as far as I'm concerned right now, is Rivian, but it's a difficult car to build. Just for honesty's sake here, they've just given us a contract to try and figure out how to get rid of the build issues that they've got. So the car is great, but you can't build it fast enough. So that's what we do for a living. So they've given us a contract, and we're going to be working on that.
It was a very insightful video from Sandy, but trust me, you would really want to watch this one.